Well, here it is, my 1998 GTI VR6. It's a special edition of that year, came in yellow. Still in pretty good shape. I'm the original owner. Everything works on it. It does have a couple of problems I'll discuss. If you go to my website, you can see some of the repairs I've done over the years, like fixing the bearings and the coil pack, and adding a trailer hitch. The electric windows work great. The car alarm works great. The remote lock and unlock and trunk latch works fine. Here you can see I replaced some years ago. I added replaced the rusted out original exhaust from the manifold all the way back with a MagnaFlow exhaust. It's stainless steel, so it'll last the rest of the life of this car. There's the trailer hitch with the electrical plug. You can see there's some rust blisters, but they're not through the all the way through or anything. They're just superficial, so if you want to do some body work, you can get rid of those. Just recently replaced the front disc brake pads. I also completely replaced the front struts from top to bottom. The left rear strut has been replaced, and the right rear strut needs replacing, and I have the part for that. This is the best part of this vehicle, is the engine. The only problem I've had with this engine has been the coil pack and the starter. The starter was really my fault because I pushed it with a low battery and it shorted it out. The coil pack I've replaced a couple of times because they seem to dry up and crack, and that causes them to short out. So pretty easy to fix though with some epoxy too. The engine is 172 horsepower. It's nicer than the new turbos out there because it has no turbo lag. It gets up and goes right away. See, I've never really cleaned the engine, so if you wanted to clean it up, it would probably look pretty good. I have a long commute, so most of the miles on this vehicle are just all highway, but you can see I get a lot of pock marks just right here on the front, and it sort of cracks the headlamps. So I haven't replaced those. They're still working fine. They're just cracked, as well as the windshield. Here you can see the leather. That's not split. That's just came unglued. So if you want to take the door panels off and stretch the leather and re-glue it, or whatever kind of industrial glue that's supposed to be on there, and it'll repair that if you want to. The cruise control doesn't work. Hasn't worked in quite a few years, but I don't know, I didn't miss it too much, so I never bothered to fix it. The rest of the interior is in really good shape. You can see the factory radio still works. I have the special keys to remove the radio if you want to remove it and replace it. The volume control is a little erratic, but that doesn't affect its use too much. You can see there's our mileage, 197,000 miles, mostly highway. All the gauges, everything else works. Heater, even the AC works. I forgot to put the cigarette lighter back in. It's no smoker's ever been in this car, so it's hard. I used it just to power GPS and stuff. There's the original owner's manual. Airbags, of course, all still intact, never deployed. Sunroof works perfectly. It's of course the factory sunroof, so it's never leaked. Works perfectly. Both the opening and closing, as well as the tilt function, all work fine. There's the tilt. Here you see when she starts up and runs, idles perfectly. The engine light's been on, I don't know, geez, at least the last 6 years or so. When you check the engine code, you can reset the light, but it'll come back on. I think it's based on the codes, it's the O2 sensors. which I never replace because it runs just fine. See, there's the original Golf knob. The leather's almost perfect condition throughout the car, except the driver's side, just because, you know, I get in and out of it a lot. It's got some cracking. It's not split. It's still intact, but there's some cracking look on the driver's side. But the rest of the leather seats look minty perfect. And the rest of the interior is in really great shape. No issues. See, the trunk latch works just fine. Trunk is very spacious. Has the spare tire and tools and jack and everything's under that mat there. At one point I installed an aftermarket amp. It still works, but it was wired into an aftermarket radio, which long ago died, and then I put the factory radio back in and haven't wired the amp up to it. So, you know, if you want that to do that, you can. The parking brake is seized up a long time ago. I replaced the cable, but it seized up again, so I didn't want to replace it again. Here you can see the windshield with some cracks from all the highway travel. None of the cracks go through the viewing area, but it is the original windshield. So after 13 years, you get a few road chips in Michigan, so kind of unfortunate. Here I'm going to start it up and drive it a little bit, show it runs just fine. Its biggest problem is the suspension on the front right. At speed, if you're making a right turn, the wheel kind of will feel like it gives. So it feels like one of the front right bushings of some kind that needs replacing. So here you can hear the MagnaFlow exhaust. And you can see that's the main reason I'm selling my car, is I've since bought a new GTI. So I no longer need my old one. This car's been a fantastic car for me. Be sad to see her go. But if I find the right new owner willing to put a little bit of work into it, this car can still be a great car for more years to come.